Welcome to the Ray's Room Drift Throw Crochet Along video series, where I'll be guiding you through all of the technical bits of the drift throw pattern. I'll be sharing a new section of the pattern each week on the Craft Life blog at raysroom.co.uk. So this is video 3, which supports part 1 of the Ray's Room Drift Throw pattern, which you'll find on the Craft Life blog at raysroom.co.uk. So we're at the next part of the pattern where there are new bits that I haven't showed you yet at the end of row 6 and then also row 7. So row 6 is this row of half trebles, and we've come to the end here, and all we need to do at the end of row 6 is take our hook out of the loop and place a stitch marker into the loop. So when it comes to a colour change, this row is a bit different to the rest of the throw. So usually when changing colour, as I showed you in the previous video, you can either use the traditional method where you hook the yarn and bring it through at the last yarn over of the stitch, or use the magic knot method. But on this row, we're going to place a stitch marker after the last stitch of row 6 into the loop. And then instead of turning our work, we are just going to go back to the beginning of the row. So keep your work facing the same way that it is and just come back to the start of the row. Get a slip knot on your hook with the next colour, and you can refer back to the pattern for confirmation on which colour you're using. And we're just going to place our first stitch into the first half treble crochet at the beginning of this row. So not into the chain of 2 at the beginning of the row, but just into the top of the first stitch. So you're just going to push your hook into the top of that stitch under both loops, and we're just going to go straight in with a double crochet. So we're working in UK terms here, and we are going to hook the yarn through, bring it through to the front so you've got 2 loops on your hook, and then you're going to get that tail end out of the way, yarn over and pull through 2 for a double crochet. Then we want another double crochet in the next stitch along. So again, for a double crochet, we are just going to pop our hook into where we want our stitch to be, which is this next one along, under both strands of the top of the stitch, hook the yarn, bring it through to the front so we've got 2 loops on our hook, yarn over and pull through 2. And then we want another one of those into the next stitch along. So now we come to our first puff stitch, and to create a puff stitch we want a yarn over. We're going to pop our hook into the next stitch along. We're going to hook the yarn, bring it back through to the front, and we just need to repeat that 5 times into the same stitch. So we're going to yarn over, pop our hook in again, through to the front, that's 2, yarn over, pull that through to the front, that's 3 and 4. And then if you lose count, you can count 1, 2. So that's 1 lot, 2, 3, 4, and then that's just the loop that's on our hook at the beginning. So we've done it 4 times so far, so we want another yarn over, pop our hook into the stitch, hook the yarn and bring it back through to the front. So once you've got all 5 of those done, you can yarn over and bring your hook through all of the loops that are on your hook. Now, with there being so many loops on your hook, that last yarn over, pull through all of them, will be tricky if you don't get your hook into the optimum position. So you want that hook facing down so that it doesn't hook any of the other loops through as you're pulling it through. So next up, we're back to double crochets, and we're just doing our next one in the very next stitch along, which is just here. So hook that yarn, bring it through to the front so you've got 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2. And as you can see here, your puffs will start to form on the other side of your work. So next up, we're going to need another double crochet. So that goes into the next stitch along, and then we are ready for our next puff. So again, we're going to yarn over, pop our hook into where we want our stitch to be, which is the next stitch along, and then yarn over, and we're going to repeat that 5 times. So get that last one in, and then yarn over and pull through all of them, and then a double crochet and a double crochet, and then we're going back in for another puff stitch. So that's yarn over, pop your hook into where you want your stitch to be, hook the yarn, bring it back through to the front, and repeat that 5 times in total. And once you've done your 5 times, you can then yarn over and pull it through all of the loops that are on your hook. And then we're going into the very next stitch for a double crochet and a double crochet in the next one, and you're going to repeat this sequence all the way along to the other end of the throw. One thing that you may find helpful when working your puff stitches is that you pull up a loop a little bit taller than usual. This can help to give you that little bit more space to make sure that you can yarn over and pull through all of the loops at the end, and will help to create a nice puff. So rather than keeping it pulled down tight like this, you want to lift it up so you've got a little bit more space. So once we've done our 2 double crochet, puff stitch, repeat all the way along to the other end of the throw, we should then get to the point where we've finished on a puff stitch before we've got 4 stitches left from the row below. And we just want 3 double crochets here, leaving the last stitch empty. So that's 1, 2, and 3. And don't put anything in that final stitch there. And with this row, we're actually going to fasten off, just leaving enough of a tail end to be able to sew that in later. Then we just want to hook the yarn and pull it through the loop that's on your hook to fasten off row 7, and we're going to leave it there. So you can refer back to the pattern on the blog for stitch count details. So I'll be back with part 2 of the drift throw crochet along this weekend on the Craft Life blog at raiseroom.co.uk. And I'll be following that up with more tutorial videos like this one to show you how to do anything new that shows up in the pattern. You can keep this stitch marker here, and we're going to pick up from this point in the next part of the pattern. Don't forget to hit follow if you're not following already. Save this video so that it's easier to get back to later. And for further help and support with the pattern, you can join the Raise Room Crafters Facebook group or the Raise Room WhatsApp community. Let me know in the comments if you found this helpful, if you've got any questions at all, and I'll see you on the next one.